The farmers in the fields below looked up. What they saw changed their lives forever. Sky fracturing, two aircraft silhouettes too close, pieces separating, fire. No explosion audio, just the horrible silence of things falling. This is not a story about a war. No enemy fired a shot. No warning was given. On a clear January morning, a United States Air Force B-52 carrying 4 hydrogen bombs collided with its refueling tanker 31,000 feet above the coast of Spain. And the most powerful weapons ever built fell out of the sky onto a quiet farming village. What happened next was covered up, mishandled, and denied, until the evidence was lying in the fields where everyone could see it. To understand Palomares, you have to understand what the U.S. Air Force was doing in January 1966. Around the clock, 365 days a year, American B-52 bombers armed with live nuclear weapons were airborne over Europe and the Atlantic. The program was called Operation Chrome Dome. The logic was simple and terrifying. If the Soviet Union launched a nuclear first strike and destroyed American ground-based missiles, the airborne B-52s would already be in position to retaliate. The weapons never landed. The crews rotated. The planes just kept flying. For 10 years, nuclear-armed B-52s circled Europe. Waiting, always waiting. Most people never knew. Most people still don't. Aerial refueling in 1966 was still a young and dangerous art. The B-52 had to fly at exactly the right speed, exactly the right altitude, directly behind and below the tanker. The margin for error was measured in feet. At 10:22 a.m. on January 17th, the B-52 moved too fast during the hookup. The refueling boom snapped. The tanker's fuel ignited. The KC-135 was destroyed almost instantly. All 4 crew members died. The B-52 broke apart. 3 of the 7 crew members ejected successfully. 4 did not survive. And 4 Mark 28 hydrogen bombs, each one roughly 70 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, were now falling freely toward the coast of southern Spain. 3 of the 4 bombs landed on land near the village of Palomares. 1 landed in the Mediterranean Sea. None detonated. Because of a key safety feature, the weapons required a specific arming sequence that had not been completed. A nuclear explosion was prevented. But 2 of the 3 land-based bombs had their conventional explosive triggers rupture on impact. The result was not a nuclear blast, but a dirty dispersal of radioactive plutonium across roughly half a square mile of Spanish farmland. Declassified USAF photos, bomb impact craters, hazmat teams in white suits, soil sampling, Spanish farmers watching from a distance. The US government's response was to say as little as possible for as long as possible. For 19 hours after the incident, no official statement was issued. When the Pentagon finally acknowledged it, they described a weapons loss incident and did not use the words nuclear or hydrogen bomb for 2 more days. Meanwhile, 1,400 U.S. military personnel descended on the village of Palomares. They dug up topsoil, bagged contaminated crops, sealed off fields that had fed families for generations. They also had to find the 4th bomb, the one in the sea. The search for the 4th bomb was the largest underwater recovery operation in American history up to that point. 80 ships, submarines, an experimental deep-sea submersible called Alvin, the same vessel that would later find the Titanic. For 80 days, they searched the Mediterranean floor off Palomares. The bomb was found twice and lost twice before finally being recovered intact on April 7, 1966, from a depth of 2,800 feet. The U.S. ambassador to Spain, in a remarkable piece of diplomatic theater, publicly swam in the sea near Palomares to demonstrate it was safe. He did this before the bomb had been recovered. Operation Chrome Dome was quietly ended within 2 years of Palomares. After another B-52 crash in Greenland in 1968 caused further nuclear contamination. The village of Palomares never fully recovered. Decades later, elevated levels of plutonium were still being detected in the soil. A cleanup agreement between the U.S. and Spain was not finalized until 2015, 49 years after the bombs fell. And the 1,600 barrels of contaminated Spanish soil? They were shipped to a nuclear storage facility in South Carolina, where they remain today. Nobody was ever charged. Nobody was court-martialed. The official inquiry concluded it was a tragic accident in an operation that was entirely legal, entirely sanctioned, and entirely secret from the populations it flew over every single day for 10 years. 4 nuclear weapons. 1 small Spanish village. 19 hours of silence. And a cleanup that took half a century. The Cold War was not a conflict fought between armies on a battlefield. It was fought in the skies above ordinary people who never knew it was happening, until the day something fell out of those skies and landed in their fields. Next week, we go to the deadliest moment in the entire history of civil aviation. 683 people, 2 Boeing 747s, 1 runway. That video is right here.